Arena Sports Grill. So, Lions kicked the you know what?
Careful, hit that dump button.
You're allowed to say that word. You're allowed to say that word.
They physically dominated both
totally
lines of scrimmage.
Dominated. They just got killed.
Yeah, hey, Cardinals, don't get too full of yourself. The big boy came in from Detroit and beat you up on both sides of the ball, and to hold you to basically 77 yards rushing. Your leading rusher only had 17 yards rushing, and if you rely on your quarterback to have 45 yards rushing with your leading rusher, that does not call for a game of success.
James Conner had nowhere to go.
And on top of that, Montgomery, what they have 186 yards rushing total. Montgomery, the combination of Montgomery and Gibbs, just phenomenal. I'm just to beat it. And the thing you realize is you go, well, is this Cardinals team similar to what Detroit was a couple years ago, trying to become physical? But you got to realize, guys, this Detroit Lions team had four first-round draft chip picks on the offensive line. I think there's a total of 7, give or take, that are like in the top 3 rounds. Really came to fruition. And their front 7 just manhandled, which I was a little surprised, Rock. I thought they'd do a better job. Manhandled that offensive line there as the Cardinals.
And
punched him in the mouth.
And for the offense to not throw the ball down the field, I mean, you look at the second and third quarter, they only had one play that was at least 10 yards. Mm-hmm. You're not going to win any games if you're going to do that.
Well, the game plan in the second half, again, just the adjustments by Drew Petzing of lack of adjustments, and the throws that he had, some of them were 50-50 balls up the sideline. And I'm like, how about underneath to your tight end? How about some crossers? How about maybe a couple screens to negate that pressure that you had, that rush? I did not see that, even though really they shut out the Lions the second half. You really had no answer. What were you, 2 for 9 in third down conversions? And that defense, last 2 drives, who was on the field for 36 minutes, caught up
time
to
of
them.
Possession. That was a big
deal. Was huge. Yeah. But that last drive, they were toast. They tried to get a stop. There was no way. Little bootleg by Goff to go off that right side. Nobody over there. Game, set, match at that point in time.
Going into this game, our own Jimmy B, who's got more experience than anybody in the world, really thought it was going to be Aiden Hutchinson. But I got to give my G2G Protein Bar Game Changer award right now to Jackson Barton, who got his first career start. And let me tell you, Hutchinson didn't even get a sack.
Got one.
One quarterback hurry is what it was. They didn't even record it as a sack. I believe it was only just one quarterback hurry before he got hurt. It was officially hurt. I mean, the guy was nothing. I mean, what were you saying all week?
He was nothing. What are you talking about?
The guy was
Kyler Murray was running for his life.
But Jackson Barton, why did he have more sacks? He won 3 of 7 pass rushes against Barton.
When's the last time you saw the Cardinals out-sack their opponent, especially?
Yes.
When they have Aiden Hutchinson.
It
was clearly the narrative going in.
Hey, they did. I will say
at
that.
Least according to Jimmy.
They did a good job of pass protecting. They just couldn't run the ball. And some of the pass routes and some of the things that they're trying to do, out routes. I never saw anything across the middle, a couple 50-50 balls. The interception he threw in the end zone, just can't throw that ball. And there's a couple others that could have been picked off by Kyler Murray, who, you know what, guys, there's that one game he gets a little careless with the football. Just when you think he's turned the corner of taking care of the ball, there's a couple careless throws that he had in there. I'm like, Kyler, you're 6th year. Don't throw that ball in there. Just live to punt. It's okay to punt. And that pick in the end zone, just can't throw that in there like that.
And I don't want to hear Cardinal fans today bitching that, that one officiating decision that went down with that 2-minute deal was the difference of the game. Mm-hmm. Because it was too early in the game. It was the end of the second half, or first half. Now, if that would happen in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes.
Okay, you got something.
Then you got something. Yeah. But that seems to be, a little crying by the Red Sea today.
What do they explain that it was
a bad call?
Oh, I agree, guys.
Clearly a bad call.
But they tried to say that the 2 minutes kept by the official on the field.
Failed, yes.
I always thought that it was in sync with the 2-minute clock. There was 1 second left when he blew the whistle down. Wait a second, because he snapped it like simultaneously with that, and then they called it 2-minute delay. A lot of guys will snap that with 3 seconds to go. So they elongate the play, and with a 2-minute drill, the 2-minute call is about 1:55. Right. They want to use some of that as far as that's concerned. But yeah, it was a bad call. I think the officials looked at each other and tried to tell the staff on the sideline that we keep the official.
They keep the official time. They do. That is their job. They keep the official time. So it's funny.
I didn't hear a whistle blow.
I didn't either, but I did see this.
It's hard when you're watching on television.
Yeah, I know. I did.
You would see a whistle, a guy coming in though.
Well, I did.
It happened so fast.
I did because there's.
Did you see him?
There's a replay that Kyler Murray, and you see the official standing behind him, and you see him start to run forward just before the ball is snapped, and he's starting to move his hands. So, and then the snap took place.
But the thing that kind of broke the back of the car was the hook and ladder.
Oh, that was a sensational play.
What a great call. What a great play.
I thought it was Boise State.
Yeah.
That was Miami in the playoff game circa 1981.
Man.
When they get the hook to Jimmy Cephalo, pitched it to Tony Nathan to get him back in the game. What a great call.
That was
at the right time.
Yes. Great call.
So Cardinals in that fourth quarter, they started possessions on the 12, the 9, and the 7. Because you had a couple fair catches and then you had a down punt. Special teams is obviously going to always play into these games.
Sure.
But I got to tell you, with Trey McBride, Dustin Jones, and even Bart and some of these guys, injuries. It was physical. These guys got hurt, and it's going to be tough. But they're fortunate to play a Commanders team coming off a Monday night game. Short week for them.
I would agree.
They got to travel out here.
Right.
You got to make that West Coast flight. But I think that they're sitting okay going into this game.
When they brought the 3 tight end package from the get-go, opening play, the whole game went, okay, Dan Campbell wants to make a statement about physicality against this Arizona Cardinals team. And number 78, he's a kid that got, I forget his name. Anyways, he was in the game, moving, motion. All right, we're going to go right. No, we're going to bounce it and go left. In Montgomery, the huge holes that he had, but also, guys, the yards after contact that you see with this running back group of Detroit is also very key with Montgomery. And you watch them both go at it in reference to hitting the pile, moving the pile. They were bound and determined to not lose 2 in a row, which has now been 9 years. They have not ever lost 2 in a row, the Detroit team.
Now it's interesting because you guys go back and think about it. There was that one run where he got stuffed after he gained about 5 yards, and his offensive lineman came in, picked him up off the ground, and carried him another 5 yards.
I think that's legal.
Man, oh man, that was unbelievable.
He was surfing the field.
He was crowd surfing.
But you know what? And to that point, Jimmy, that was a huge first down. It really was a first down.
I think this is, you're looking at this game overall, and okay, it's a loss to the Lions. I think many of you may have said, okay, that's a loss going in. But they did play them close.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a blowout. It was a game where they were obviously more physical, as we've talked about. Time of possession was the key there. But they need to build some consistency, this Cardinal team. And they just seem to be inconsistent. And this is no different than teams that have been on this field at State Farm years past. Mm-hmm. I don't see any difference in a Jonathan Gannon team as I do as a Kingsbury team, other than the mistakes on offense. And
I think they're more physical, Rock, than the Gannon.
Physical, they got their asses.
They're playing a lot harder than
they are. They're playing harder, more physicality, I think, from this Jonathan
I think if you pull the teams in that locker room, they'll say they play just as hard.
Now, I only saw one game.
I don't know how people us talking heads, because from just watching, can say, "Oh, that team played harder for that."
Oh, I can totally.
Come on, that's BS.
I think there's only one.
That is complete BS.
No, it's not. There's only one game I saw last year where the Cardinals really were out of it. They were competitive. The other ones, they're competitive in these games. They're physical. They're more competitive. They shut out Detroit in the second half. That's a physical team.
Yep.
They put more pressure on Goff than the other way around.
There were signs when they played for Kingsbury where they shut teams down too. But I just hate that when talking heads didn't even are not even in that locker room. Don't even know who these players are personally.
Be in the locker room.
Yes, you do.
I watch.
You guys all think that you guys know stuff just because you played the game. And I think that's BS.
I do, Rock.
But you can't tell me that if we talk to a certain player that was in that locker room with Cliff Kingsbury, and if he's in the same locker room with Jonathan Gannon, he's not going to say, "Oh, we didn't play as hard."
I can tell
under Kingsbury.
Booter Baker had to get after those guys when Kingsbury's. I can tell you, watching the era, maybe aside from the 7-0.
You can make a case that the talent level is different, but I don't think you can make a case on these guys. You always, of all people who played in this game at a high level, and said, "Oh, these guys are always playing. They can be 0-10 and they're playing hard."
No. There's a difference between being dialed in, which I've only seen one game where this team wasn't dialed in under the Gannon era. Under Kingsbury, they were a miss in several games at the end of the season. We saw them.
Well, and the season's a little bit different. I mean, but we could go back to Kingsbury's first couple years in the first 3-4 games, you can't make this case.
Yes, I can. I can say that at times. I will say this. I don't think that Drew Petzing's offense has shown me that he can make adjustments yet to this point.
That's fair.
We saw that.
But that's not the argument we have.
But the
argument is this locker room is different than the locker room before.
I totally think it is. I see it. I see more physicality. I see less missed assignments. I see less missed tackles. And there's things you can see, Rock, as far as are they dialed in. And I've only seen one game. It was last year that they were not totally dialed in. But since then, they've been competitive. They've been all on board as far as I've seen.
All right, top 5 plays and sounds from the weekend are next. Thanks for hanging out with us. We're live from Arena Sports Grill. It's Fox Sports 910.